Welcome back to Chatting with History. Great to be back again on our day 2 of our exciting events that are going on in history. Our next person is a really interesting person in history. This is a person back in the Civil War. She is a person who was lucky to survive. This person lives in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania in the year 1863. Please welcome my friend, Virginia.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here. I am very excited to tell you all the exciting things in my life.
Wow. So Virginia, I heard that you live in the 1800s. What was it like with no family to support you during the Civil War?
It was difficult. I know that Jen Pod just went to keep me safe, but until they come back, I'll be on top of Cemetery Hill. That was where my mom was buried.
Wow. So tell me, Virginia, what was the most difficult part of your life? I mean, how did you survive it?
I guess it was when my mom died. She was a lovely woman. Even though she is dead, I have to stay strong. I had to stay brave.
Wow, Virginia. Your family went to find somewhere safe to live during the war, is that right? Mm-hmm. And you had to stay with the McCulleys? Mm-hmm. How did you stay so brave during that time? Sounds really scary.
I had to be strong. Imagine what it's like sitting on a bunch of dead people.
Whoa, that sounds really weird. Well, I know that you like to write in Jed's journal, but what do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I like to play with dolls. I have one that's from my mom. It was very special to me.
Wow, that's amazing, Virginia. So, Virginia, what do you see as the future of slavery in the South?
In the future of the South, I see no slavery. The people will be free.
Thank goodness. That's exciting, isn't that, audience? Virginia, you survived the Civil War when about 50,000 others were killed, or wounded, or even missing. It's been a pleasure having you with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Virginia from the Civil War. When we come back, more history to come. Take care. Welcome back to Chatting with History. Next interview is an incredible person from history. Everyone's familiar with this event in history, but not many people have actually had a chance to talk to people from this historical times. And you're going to be blown away, I think. Well, this person comes all the way from the early 1900s, in a time when there was an enormous ship called the Titanic that was taking off from Europe and heading toward America. Well, as you know, the ship did not survive, but our next guest did survive. I would like to introduce my friend, Margaret Ann Brady.
So much. It is an honor to be here.
So, Margaret, you lived in the year 1912. What was it like living through the disaster of the Titanic sinking?
Well, it was a very difficult time for me. Losing all those people was horrible. There was a lot of chaos, as you can imagine. I was looking for my friend Robert, a bellboy on the ship, but when I saw him, he had to warn other people, and then I never saw him again. That was the hardest part.
I bet. My gosh. What is the one thing, Margaret, that you always remember from the great Titanic sinking?
Well, I will always remember the fancy dinners. The person who cared for me made me just all fancy. There was foods I never even tried before, but it was delish. The ship itself was amazing. Anything you could want was there. It was like a floating hotel.
Sounds delicious. And I guess I know where the pool was. So, Margaret, you went back to your room to see if anyone else was still there? How did you stay so strong when the ship was sinking?
Well, I had to stay strong. I think it was Robert with all his encouragement. Or maybe my brother William, who was already waiting for me in America. I knew I had to stay strong if I wanted to see my brother again. I hadn't seen him in a very long time.
Wow, it's an amazing story, Margaret. I know that you had some sad times in your life, Margaret. But you probably had some fun times. What did you like to do for fun, Margaret?
Well, I liked and still like visiting my friend Mrs. Carstairs. I liked walking her dog Florence. Florence liked me at first sight. She kept jumping up on me and licking me. That was the first time at the orphanage for me, and I didn't have a dog in the orphanage.
That's amazing. So what happened to you since the Titanic sank?
Well, it took me a very long time to get over. I've learned to live with it, but never forgot it. My day doesn't go by that I don't think about it, but I have gotten married and I have 3 wonderful kids. A boy who we named Robert after the bellboy on the ship, a girl, and another son. They're all wonderful. I have seen my brother and we're close to this day.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, is this an amazing story or what?
Yeah!
Margaret Ann, I can see that you're a survivor from the Titanic. You're brave, caring, and a confident young woman. Thank you for coming and sharing your story with us. Let's hear it again for Margaret Ann Brady, everybody. Welcome back to Chatting with History. My name is Hollywood Paradise, and I'm here today with a very special guest. This person is from the mid-1800s who was a frontier. He traveled all the way from the big woods of Wisconsin by wagon and came to the prairies of Kansas. I'd like to present to you a friend of mine and a TV star, Mr. Charles Ingalls. How you doing, Charles? Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Paradise. It's great to be here.
So I understand you lived in the 1860s. What was it like living with Indians at war and a panther prowling around the prairie?
It was difficult to keep my children and wife safe from dangers.
Yeah, I bet.
But my dog, Jack, was there to help me comfort and protect my family.
So tell me, Charles, what was the highlight of your life?
The highlight of my life was to move to Kansas and have my own farm, hunt in the big woods, and love my family.
Wow. Charles, I have to know, what was the scariest part of your trip?
The scariest part was when I saw a panther in a tree near my house.
What? Are you serious? Sounds scary. Wow. What would you say, Charles, is the one thing you'll remember for the rest of your life?
That panther jumping out of the tree and chasing me all the way home.
Oh my gosh, I believe it. Charles, did you see any wolves while camping on the prairie? And how did you get them to go away?
Yes, I did see wolves on the prairie, but luckily they went away by themselves.
Charles, I know you're a hardworking and helpful man, but I'm sure you have a fun side. What do you do for fun?
I play with my children and take them places like Indian camps to collect beads.
Oh, wow. Charles, what do you see for your children's future?
I hope they'll have their own farms and raise their own families.
Well, Charles, you're a hero to your children. It was a pleasure having you here to talk with us. Thanks for coming. Everybody give it up for Charles Ingalls. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the most amazing surprise for you. We have a guest so unique and special that I'm fairly sure that we are the only show in the history of the world that has ever had such an interview. It's a unique individual that you will not believe. We had to get special permission to bring this guest here today. Our special guest fought to stay alive in the battlefields of France during World War I, and it's a special soldier. I'd like to welcome an historic war horse, Joey, everybody!
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Mr. Paradise. I'm so excited to tell you my life story and much more.
I believe it, Joey. So, Joey, I know you lived through terrible times in 1914, is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me what it was like as a war horse to be in a cruel battlefield like World War I?
Well, living during World War I was violent, disturbing, and depressing.
I bet.
Sometimes I could hardly watch what was in front of me and what I was about to go into. When each new chapter in the war started, soldiers and horses like me fought hard to stay alive. Several times I felt my riders get shot right off my back.
It was amazing.
Scary. After hours of violence, the battlefield would get quiet, but more shots were always heard. Sometimes life as a war horse seemed unbearable because I was forced to pull ambulance carts and gun carts with little food or water.
Oh my gosh.
Some soldiers didn't care much about me or how I felt, but I felt proud fighting for both my life and the lives of my riders. I realized that there were great men on both sides of the war that loved and cared for horses like me.
Wow, that is amazing. I've never heard a point of view like this before. Joey, you've lived a very full life so far, haven't you?
Yes.
What was one of the most memorable times in your whole life?
Well, one of the most memorable times in my life was a very depressing time.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, it's so true. Had to do with my best friend, another war horse, Topthorn.
Topthorn? I've heard about him. Tell me about him.
Well, me and Topthorn were pulling a gun cart to the next battle up a hill when he fell to the ground. I didn't know what was wrong, but he looked ill, like he wasn't going to make it.
Oh no.
Then I knew straight then that my best friend, who went through everything with me and gave me courage and love through the war, had died. Thinking of the countless men and horses that had died too, I prayed for them in Topthorn.
Wow. Joey, I understand you jumped bravely over a 4-foot fence of barbed wire, but it looks like you cut your forearm badly on it. How did you stay so strong in such horrible times, Joey?
Well, Mr. Paradise, I really didn't have a choice. I was trying to stay alive, to save my life. After the big jump, I could barely walk, but I knew I had to keep on running. Albert, my long-lost owner, said that he would come for me one day. That was his promise to me when his father sold me to the cavalry. Albert kept me strong and hopeful through that most horrible time.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe this story? Is this amazing or what?
Yeah!
Yeah, it really is something. Tell me, Joey, I know you are a very adventurous and hardworking horse, but do you have a fun side? I mean, what do you do for fun as a horse?
Well, now that World War I has ended and I'm home with Albert and his beautiful wife, Gorgeous, I'm having more fun than I could have ever imagined.
Really?
I love to run a full-out gallop for miles and miles. I feel like I'm flying through the sky. I also love to swim through the cool streams of Albert's farm. I like to roll in the dirt and grass, too, with my horse buddies.
Warhorse Joey, what do you see ahead for the future now that the war's ended?
Well, Mr. Paradise, now that the war has ended, I hope for a better future. I hope the Germans realize how much they had in common with the British. These two men did, the ones who took care of me in no man's land.
Oh, these two right behind you?
Yes.
They
wish they could also just end the war with a flip of a coin.
That's amazing.
I wish that too. I also predict that horses like us will be replaced by vehicles that won't need the kindness of men or food or water to go on with the war.
Wow. Joey, I gotta say, I enjoyed having you on my show so much. You're an amazing horse with just a great story. I hope to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the War Horse, Joey.
Thank you so much for having me on your show today, Mr. P. I had so much fun today. Hope to see you all again. For now.
Do you mind if I shake your hand or a hoof?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Have a great one. Ladies and gentlemen, the War Horse, Joey.